What's good, y'all? Go ahead and smash that like, hit that subscribe, and get locked in. It's about that time cooking with the truth. Sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, your beer, your blunt, or whatever you need, because after this mess, you gone. Need something to calm your nerves. Oh yeah, we cookin' heavy today. The menu is stacked. And just because Tiffany Henyard's out the picture, don't mean the circus left town. Trust me, this show is far from over. See, folks think Tiffany's somewhere chillin' right now, laughing at the chaos she left behind. And she might be. Let her laugh. Because when that knock comes on her door and it's coming in to nobody. Gone be smiling. But right now, let's deal with the new clown in the ring. This ex-football player turned welfare boss out in Thornton Township, Napoleon Harris. Yeah, that dude. Acting like folks work for him instead of the people. Whole attitude like he's still calling plays from the NFL. Sir, this is government, not game day. Now, don't get me wrong, we were glad to see him beat Tiffany in that election. But let's not pretend it was clean. The way he slid into that seat raised some real questions. And trust me, we'll get to them. But the biggest red flag with Napoleon, it's the arrogance. It's the silence when you ask a real question. Matter of fact, it's not that he can't answer. He won't. He just refuses. Reminds me of the same shady nonsense we saw with Henyard, just minus the dramatics. Still smells rotten to me. Let me be clear, I don't see a politician. I see a dude that thinks he's still got shoulder pads on and can bulldoze whoever's in his way. But we gone take our time with him. Let the man speak for himself in that board meeting. Oh, we got footage, and some familiar faces are pulling up too. Shout out to Hannibal is hungry. Shout out to Miss Alicia and Nicole. Alicia, don't stress whatever threw you off at that meeting. We got your back. Trust me, that light work already in motion, but let's start with a different clown. Somebody who's been lurking in the background since day one. He tried to play quiet, but every time he opens that mush mouth to speak, we regret tuning in. Yep, Probert Hunt, I was watching. That meeting yesterday until he got on the mic, that's when I hit mute. Same useless rambling as before. And the wild part, this man still got a job, still collecting checks. This, the finance director of the township, $130,000 a year rent. He sound like he reads off cereal boxes. Is this man part-time or full-time collecting taxpayer cash? Because if Napoleon clocking hours like this, that man making $5,000 every time he blinks, make it make sense. Politicians supposed to earn their pay. This man ain't even 10% into his term and already it's looking like a scam. But don't worry, we're working on shortening that term real quick. Arrogance gets exposed. Even the trustees I like under him. Real quiet right now. This ain't football, brew. You don't get to stiff-arm accountability. Anyway, I ain't even scratched the surface. We got more to dig into, but let me circle back to Mushmath Hunt, because when he finally took the mic, after all that suspense, guess what this $130,000 man had to say. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's the big intro. No substance, no spine, just another rubber stamp for the mess happening in that township. Stay tuned, we about to break this whole circus down piece by piece. My name ain't Robert Hunt, but y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. And if you don't, congrats, you've been spared. But let me break it down. Last month's report from him was straight up comedy. $2,500 for ice cream cake for seniors. Another $2,500 for an ice cream truck to carry said cake. $1,000 to pay a driver to drive the truck with the cake. Bro, that was a $6,000 ice cream run. What in the taxpayer robbery is this? And this man stood up there and read that mess like it was Nobel Prize material. He dragged that nonsense out for 20 minutes. Like we was at a cookout and he was telling war stories. And let's be real, this is classic Tiffany Henyard leftovers. Back then, when she had nothing left to say, she'd hand the mic to Mushmath. Guess what Napoleon Harris is doing now? Yep, same damn playbook, same damn mushmouth. So here's what we really want. Not to hear from Robert Hunt again. We want him indicted. 'Cause every time someone asks him a real question, he turns ghost. Who taught him that slick escape trick? Tiffany or Nigapolian? That's right, I said it. Let me speak your language, Harris. Back in the NFL, when the owner paid you, you played. You didn't boss the owner around. Now in this township, you ain't the owner, bro. We are, the people. And we saw that slick little law you helped push through, the one that guarantees you over $200,000 a year, plus a $60,000 expense account. For a part-time job, 8, cool then. What are your hours? Are they tracked? 'Cause right now, you making surgeon money with substitute teacher hours. And every time somebody asks, you start calling timeouts, like this is the fourth quarter of a playoff game. Newsflash. You out a timeouts, Napoleon. The flag's on the field, and the ref is the people. I feel bad for Thornton Township, man. Y'all really thought y'all won something. Dude walked into office with zero campaign, popped up twice, and slid into that supervisor seat like it was handed to him. My vote would have gone to Nate, but I ain't live there. I couldn't vote for Nate, so I said, fine, let's give this dude a shot. But I called it back then. He's arrogant. Still got that linebacker mentality, like he gone run everybody over. But when it's time to speak, man calls an audible and disappears. Every single time. Why does this man make 15 times more than the trustees under him? Is he doing 15x the work, or is he just good at looking like he is? See, this is why we gotta stop electing people just because they got name recognition or some fancy background. Don't get it twisted, I respect the hustle. Football career, props, big house, do your thing. But that don't make you qualified, and it damn sure don't make you smart. Honestly, of all pro athletes, football players gotta be the least prepared for politics. And I mean that. Just a bunch of 300-pound linemen with one Joe Brun into people. Napoleon's whole NFL job was simple: tackle the ball carrier. And now he wanna act like a quarterback in politics. You, not built for that position, brr. You can rock a suit, shine your shoes, flash the bank account, but the minute you open your mouth, it's clear you ain't the sharpest one in the room. And I see through all of 'em, man. They ain't smarter than the average person in Thorn Township. They just know how to play politics. They got connections, know the loopholes, smile for the camera. That's it. When I started calling out Tiffany, Napoleon was a ghost, silent, off the radar. We thought Cassandra was Tiffany 2.0. Y'all remember her? Picking her nose at meetings while dragging Jason. But now this dude right here, he's Tiffany 2.0 in the flesh. So yeah, we gone dive into the footage. You know, I gotta shout out the homies Alicia, Nicole. Hannibal is hungry, the whole squad, especially Alicia. She came in strong, as always, doing what she do best, speaking truth. Even when folks try to sideline her. And before we roll the first clip, I gotta mention this: I was watching Jed's channel. He was talking with Keith Animus, yeah, that Keith, and Keith imitated Alicia Nicole. Man, that impression was too good. Gotta give it to him, 'cause Alicia got that skill. She call you out, shake your nerves, but still keep it classy. Hi Keith, would you like to speak to the people? That's her, sweet with it, but she cut through your whole story with one question. That's talent. Now let's roll the first clip. Alicia Nicole on the mic. Watch this. She starts off pretending to be calm, saying she appreciates the budget report, but then immediately flips into a passive-aggressive TED Talk. There's no baseline, she says. Translation: we don't know what's going on, but we'll act like we do next year. She claims she's cutting them some slack, but you can tell she's already revving up to blame everybody next fiscal year when the numbers don't add up. That fake patience is just a setup for a future meltdown. Then she goes left, talking about cyberbullying like she's the victim, while low-key throwing shade at everyone with a Wi-Fi signal. She name-drops Babe Solo and Jesse Jones like she's reading from a courtroom transcript. Then has the nerve to say, please leave my name off your content. Ma'am, you're literally saying this during public comment. On record, that's the equivalent of tweeting, stop talking about me in all caps, and tagging the person, she says. I've never called you out your name, never wanted to fight you. But that tone says she's ready to throw hands behind the building after recess. Sis, you didn't have to say it to broadcasted it with every eye roll and fake pause for composure. And then the kicker, it's all recorded. We know you're the one turning every Facebook Live into a courtroom deposition. Now she's talking about slanderous allegations and begging people to stop calling her name. Meanwhile, she can't go 5 minutes without calling theirs. You can't yell, stop bullying me, while poking people with a stick and pressing go live. You want silence? but you logged on for chaos. Let's not pretend you don't love the drama, you just don't like losing control of the narrative. And then she pulls the classic, I don't want to be part of the mess, creating 10 minutes of solid mess. I'm just putting this on record, she says, as if that clears her of the petty energy she just unleashed like a confessional on Zoo's network. She ends it with, thank you, administration. But let's be real, they were probably praying for the timer to hit 0, and I'm just asking nicely for certain folks, especially this one, to keep my name out there raggedy-ass monologues. Appreciate it. Didn't I just drop a video the other day talking about drama starters? The ones always stirring the pot, starting mess, then crying victim. Don't be shocked when LL Cool Mess starts pulling that same stunt. Yep, Kangol hat, gold tooth, 1987 style, stuck in a time machine. Oh, my bad, that's a lady. Couldn't tell. Sis.o. Her, the one who floods her vids with hashtags nobody reads. Alicia, watch your back, girl, because this granny, going viral in her own mind, her video coming soon with your name in it, but spelled like she sneezed mid-keyboard smash. It won't even hit 50 views. Real talk, sis made a channel 10 months after she and Tar split tan for what? 2 likes and a dislike. Ma'am, you 70 years old, beefing at midnight for attention. Go knit something. This the type of mess too. Look out for Alicia. Thumbnail crooked. Title looking like ransom note font. Video sounding like it was recorded in a tin can. She always name-dropping people, poking at Calf Channel, and dragging you into it. Just got stomped out by Trina. DS and still out here talking slick. Take your Metamucil and sit down. Ain't nobody checking for your nonsense. Fix your dentures before you fix your mouth. Tiffany this, Tiffany that, we don't even know what you're saying half the time. It's just muffled chaos and mumble grumbling, talking like your mouth full of peanut butter and pride. Then you got the nerve to call someone else an orangutan when you up there looking like Danny Glover in a Kangol with a Crenshaw tee. Sis, please. Your whole vibe screams expired Funkmaster flex tape, talking about Ranger Thames. Girl, you can't even pronounce orangutan, let alone spell it, sounding like you fresh out the cotton fields. The hypocrisy is loud, and so is your audio turn, your mic down. I can't believe y'all still entertaining this circus. Look, I'm refunding that $20 you wasted on that Dollar Tree tea. Consider it a community service write-off. You clearly need more help than views, and respectfully, I hope Trina DS comes back for round 2. Matter of fact, we need that 11-hour live stream special. LL Coolness gets read for filth. Trina, if you see this, go ahead, sis, cook her. Got $10 Cash App for the first 3 people who call her LL Cool Mess to her face. Send proof. Offer valid until my petty expires. But anyway, let's move on before I catch a secondhand headache. Now back to some of my favorites, Paul Roberts and Jennifer Roberts. Always 10 toes down. Been holding it down since day one. Salute to them. Let's hear what they had to say real quick, and then I'll be back to wrap this roast up right. Some people came to this meeting with hope in their hearts, but tonight's message isn't for the hopeful. It's for the truthful. Because the truth is, some folks in Thornton Township are not going to like what's about to be said. And guess what? This speaker didn't come here to be liked. They came to be heard. Supervisor Harris, the question is simple. Why did you really want this job? Was it the 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary? Was it about power? Because from where we're sitting, your time as supervisor has been more photo ops and less public service. While residents struggle to survive or flee the township, you're living like a king in a sinking castle. Transparency, nowhere to be found. You handpicked your own caucus, locked out opposition, and slid into office without even facing the public. And now you barely show up unless there's a camera flashing. People have approached you with questions, with concerns. Your response, you called their voices nonsense. Real leadership, huh? Let's be real. Thornton Township didn't ask for a career politician. We needed someone who listens, someone who cares, someone who shows up and gets to work. Instead, we got a power-hungry figure who shuts out residents and stacks the board with silence. But here's the twist. There's still time to prove everyone wrong. Are you going to? And then came Paul Roberts. The man brought receipts. After the board was sworn in, they immediately hired attorneys Steve Levinsky and Klesson, but refused to release their contracts through FOIA. One request ignored. Another answered, "Why the silence the first time? Was it a sensitive file? Or just another shady move in a long list?" Here's the kicker. Taxpayers are now paying for 2 law firms, and not one of them represents the people. You can't even go to these attorneys for help drafting a resolution. Like, if residents want to start a recall to remove corrupt officials, shouldn't we have legal resources for that? Or are they only here to protect the throne? And let's not ignore the elephant in the courtroom: Supervisor Harris personally influences which judges land on the ballot. Let that sink in. The man in power also controls who oversees the power. Roberts said it best. He's more afraid of Harris's attorneys than he ever was of Tiffany Henry, and that's saying a lot. So, once again, shout out to Paul and Jennifer Roberts, Thornton Township's unofficial watchdogs. They show up, they ask the hard questions, and they don't let the silence scare them away. They are exactly what these crooked politicians, fear-informed residents who won't shut up, and Harris. Let's break it down for you in your language: football. When the team owners, the residents, call the play, your job is to run it, not rewrite it, not fake an injury, run the play. But somehow, you think you're the coach, the owner, and the star player rolled into one. That's not leadership. That's delusion. How wild is it that a man can stroll into office, decide what he gets paid, cut his own hours, and tell the taxpayers they don't get a say? What kind of job is that? Oh yeah, politics. But not for long, because the residents are watching, and the next play might just be your last. These thieving, lying, arrogant politicians, people, are done with y'all. Just flat out done. I never thought I'd see the day where Napoleon Harris became Tiffany Henry 2.0. At least her clown show had some entertainment value. But you're just a smug ex-football player looking down on folks like you're too good to serve the people who pay your damn salary. Newsflash, Napoleon, this ain't the NFL. This is public service. And that's the part that blows my mind. How the hell do politicians get to vote on their own salaries? You show up to my house to fix the lights, and you tell me it's $4,000? Guess what? Frank, you can turn your little work truck around, 'cause I ain't paying that. But somehow, these public officials get to write themselves blank checks, and we're just stuck footing the bill. Nah, that's straight robbery with a necktie. We need laws, real laws that allow the people to recall these clowns. 6 months. Give them 6 months to prove they ain't full of it. And if they can't deliver, pack your bags and get out. No one should suffer through 4 years of garbage leadership, especially not in Illinois, where the whole system is rotting from the inside. The corruption is so thick, it's choking the damn air. Now let's shift gears to one of my favorites. The man himself, Mr. Don Lee. Been a minute since we heard from him, but when he speaks, he brings that heat. And right off the bat, he's calling out the games being played with that forensic audit. Months of begging for transparency, and they're still ignoring it like it's optional. How do you move forward with no baseline, no verified numbers? You can't even build a fake budget on that nonsense. Dan's right, we're still shooting in the dark. There are money gaps, missing funds, shady figures, and zero answers. And while folks talk about bonuses and new hires, how do we know if they even qualify to be there? You giving out bonuses and can't even confirm how much money's in the damn account? This ain't Monopoly, bro. This is taxpayer cash. We need receipts, not excuses. And look, I agree the energy is better than the last 4 years, but we still ain't where we need to be. Communication is trash. Questions get filtered or flat out ignored, and all that does is build more mistrust, more division, more chaos. We need real Q&A sessions, real answers, real accountability, not another round of smoke and mirrors. The people deserve truth, not another political circus. Let's be real. If you're sitting in that office and the only reason you're there ain't the residents, then you need to reevaluate why the hell you're even in leadership. Simple as that. This isn't about ego, titles, or flexing power. It's about service. If that's not your mission, step aside, because the people are done playing games. Shout out to Dan Lee, a real one who's been standing up for the community since day one. He doesn't sugarcoat, doesn't play politics, just demands accountability. That's what leadership is supposed to be: responsive, responsible, and respectful. Not silent, not dismissive, and definitely not arrogant. You got one job, and yet half these folks act like the job description is a mystery. What are you here for? To ghost the public? To sit on a throne collecting a check? Please. That same attitude is exactly what Napoleon Harris gave when Ben Bradley asked why he's pulling six figures like he's six people. This man's collecting 2 part-time salaries that add up to almost $300,000, while the township barely answers phones. Imagine paying 5 people that same money. You'd get results. Calls answered. Issues fixed. But nah. Instead, we pay one dude because he used to wear a helmet. Thornton Township didn't vote for a linebacker. We voted for a leader. Let's roll the tape. Listen to this dude talk. Feel the arrogance dripping off every word. This is what we're dealing with. A man who thinks basic accountability is beneath him. Who thinks criticism is just clickbait. Nah, Napoleon. It's called transparency. And you wouldn't know it if it hit you like a blitz. He stands there acting like he's Moses on the mountain, telling us all how hard he's working for the residents. But the only thing he prioritized was his own salary, and he did that before he even got sworn in. You knew exactly what game you were playing, Napoleon. You ain't fooling anybody. Not anymore. You can give that long-winded, fake deep speech to your followers, but to the rest of us, we see it. The paycheck, the performative pity, the lies wrapped in buzzwords. You want to be a leader? Start by telling the truth. Or better yet, take your own advice and go coach football. That's what you're really built for. You can call it comedy, you can call it chaos, but one thing's for sure. Napoleon Harris just got dragged again. Folks are waking up, and they're not here for his football coach turned political genius routine anymore. And let's be real, nobody's falling for it except his inner circle. He's running Thornton Township like it's Friday Night Lights. But the only thing he's quarterbacking is excuses. Now let's talk about the desperation. Allegedly, Robert Mushmouth Hunt went all the way to Fiverr, typed in erase my scandal, and hit up somebody in Pakistan to wipe an article from the Lansing Journal. What article, you ask? The one detailing the audit, the $2,500 ice cream truck stunt, and that suspicious trail of public funds. And guess what? Mushmouth still got a job. Meanwhile, the residents can't even get transparency, and the circus continues. Keith Price still on medical leave, but still magically employed with Thornton Township, while also playing CEO over at INA. That's not a resume, that's a hustle. And the latest recruit to INA, Stephanie Wieterman, thought she was getting a spot in the township too, but looks like Poland pulled the plug. Some of his allies mysteriously vanished. Maybe they realized they hitched their wagon to the wrong horse. The trustees, man, just look at their faces during meetings. You don't need subtitles. The look says it all. Damn, we did it. Again, 4 more years of this mess. Unless the people step up and flip the script, that's exactly what's going down. The laws are too weak, the seats too comfy, and the taxpayers too tired. But that's why voices like Hannibal is Hungry, Alicia Nicole, and LL Cool Chaos keep this fire burning. Before I go, there's one thing I gotta ask. Stephanie, real talk, did you and Ed Steve really jack those 10 pizzas from that dude? Who tried to donate them to save Dolton? If not, cool, we don't want to throw dirt on your name. But it's the type of petty drama that defines this whole administration. Thornton Township ain't a soap opera. Or maybe it is. Either way, smash those likes, drop your thoughts, and don't forget, Napoleon, you should have stuck to coaching.